Okay, today I wanted to talk about the new legislation about the child sexual abuse, um, mandatory reporting, and the criminal justice bill amendments. And yeah, my conversation with Dino Nocivelli and Alex Renton yesterday discussing this. Okay. So, yesterday I spoke with Alex Renton and Dino Nocivelli because on Friday last week, there was an amendment to the criminal justice bill, which, according to mandatory reporting and the IICSA, which was the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse, their recommendation that it become mandatory, meaning that if you don't report child sexual abuse, if you see it, you're aware of it, you think it's going on, you will then be held criminally responsible. The amendment they've made, and this is our conversation yesterday, was basically saying that they have put a clause in that it's not mandatory. It's basically you're requested to report it, but it's not law. It's not a criminal act if you don't. And what they're pointing out in the interview yesterday is that most of the countries, Australia, most states in America, most of Europe, they have this bill in place that if you do not report, and there was some case in France recently, knowing about child sexual abuse, it's like Alex Renton was pointing out that his head teacher knew about it, but he about the sexual abuse which was going on, but he gave a reference to the teachers who were abusing and sent them on to other schools, and they went on and abused in other schools. In in most countries that would be a criminal act and he would be arrested for it. What they found is when they've put that in, that amendment, that it becomes a criminal act, then there's a lot less sexual abuse. So they're very upset. One of the words Alex Renton used on the podcast yesterday was it's a crock of shit. I've heard other people say it's a sham. The head of IICSA, Alexi J, she said she's deeply disappointed. So what can we do? The first thing is, I did this yesterday. I wrote to my MP, and I will put into the description a link to Voices Unbound, which is a new group which has started, which is basically wanting to campaign. It's being talked about in Parliament today, over the next couple of weeks as well. So we can do something. We need to make this into something that our MPs become aware of. So my invitation would be, go on to the Voices Unbound. There's a press release. I'll put it into the description. You just copy and paste. Send that to your MP. Tell them you're upset and you want this talked about. This needs to be thrown out. Yesterday there was an amendment which was thrown out because the backbenchers revolted, the Conservative backbenchers. So see, we can make a difference. Really see that. So this is really important. If you've not watched the interview, I'll also put it into the description. Please do watch it. So yeah, it's really upsetting on one level that they spent £200 million on this inquiry, and this basically says no, it's not going to be mandatory, meaning that if a teacher sees something, but the ruling is if they don't think it's in the child's best interests, they're not going to report it. So it's not law that, right, I've seen this, I know this is going on, I have to by law. So it's disappointing, very disappointing, but we can do something. Invitation, as you've watched this, please do contact your MP, and let's get this ball rolling. Okay, so thank you. Take care.